Alongside Brent Hubbs, I'm Austin Price for the 2-minute drill on this Monday. Just heard from Jeremy Pruitt. Brent, it seems like he may get a few of those players back while they may not be able to practice all week, back for game day, at least according to the head coach.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. He was asked how that would work from a timeline standpoint because it would seem to be that the quarantine would not start until after the Auburn game, which means that no one would be back. But this is not up to the university's discretion. This is the doctors working with the local health department on when the quarantine would actually start and take place. And it sounds as if, though, working with the health department, he thinks they will get some of those guys back. He did not think they would get all of them back, but certainly we get some of those guys back. And the biggest news for Tennessee today is, to this point, no new positives other than the two they had heading into the weekend or heading into the Thanksgiving break.
All right, I want to educate everybody on how the contact tracing works. I know because my wife is the nurse director for Anderson County Schools. So when there's a positive test, they contact trace back 48 hours. So technically, some of those guys' quarantine would have technically started when they were around said positive 48 hours prior to Sunday. If that happens, then that puts them back on that timeline of getting back late Friday, early Saturday as far as contact tracing. So that's how I'm guessing that this is being handled by the health department, is they were around said positive on the front end of the trip. That's why they're able to get back right before the Florida game were to take place coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, and we'll see exactly who that is and who that isn't. That could be interesting to watch. Is Jeremy Pruitt confirming today that one of his quarterbacks is involved in contact tracing and has missed some practice time. We believe that to be Jerry Garantano. Austin, I think from everybody that we've discussed with, he would not mention a name, but
he's not been out there the last week.
Right. He has not practiced. And now, if there's anybody on the team that knows the offense, it would be Jared in terms of could he come back and play. But that would certainly lend it into the situation where this would be an opportunity for Harrison Bailey to get to start. Even if Jared came back and was out of quarantine and could be ready, one would think, given a week of practice this week, that would be this would be, Harrison Bailey's first opportunity to get to start, as he was going to get to start against Vanderbilt as those two teams played last week.
Yeah, and elsewhere, Coach Pruitt says they're excited to be back. They had a walkthrough on Saturday. They had a walkthrough earlier today. Did not do anything on Sunday. So Tennessee's not really been at practice since the middle of last week. They will be back at practice tomorrow.
Yeah, very different open date week this past week compared to the previous two that Tennessee had, the scheduled open date and then the other one that came up because of the Texas A&M postponement. Because of the 16 to 18 players who were involved in contact tracing and the positive testing, they were limited in what they could do on the practice field last week and through the weekend. So much more teaching and walkthroughs, much less camp-style grind. Probably puts them a little ahead in terms of game plan, Austin, getting ready. But at the same time, too, probably hurts them a little bit from a physical contact standpoint in terms of maybe having some rust with tackling and some of those things heading into the Florida game.
He's Brent Hubbs. I'm Austin Price. This has been the 2-minute drill from Monday.